welcome back to Living Off Grid. In our last video we sistered a couple of 2x8s together to replace the 8x8s that we were originally going to put on the ends of the cabin. And so we had one 8x8 made. We're going to turn this into 2x8s. They'll end up being a little thin, but that's okay. You'll notice here how I'm carrying the log on the top flat portion of the bucket. Pretty convenient. I just get it up on here, tilt it back, and it stays in between the support arms and the bucket really quite well. I'll sometimes carry lumber this way as long as I can make it through my trees. If I include it, there's a little bit of video where I tried to drive through a couple trees and I literally had maybe a ½ inch on either side, so it can get kind of fun sometimes. This is about 14.5 feet long, so alright, the 8x8 secure on the mill. I'm going to back the tractor up out of the way so I'm not shooting sawdust up into its radiator, so that it doesn't create a dust storm on me next time I start it up. Ask me how I know. And then we're going to get to cutting. Okay, so it's been a minute since I've cleaned out the inside. I'm going to bring the camera around and show you kind of my process for cleaning this out. It's probably not bad, but I can see here I've got some buildup that's kind of stopping me from shooting out sawdust, so we'll address that. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of sawmill maintenance here before we get to cutting, because I noticed that my exit holes there is plugged up a little bit, and I'll show you how we do that because I haven't covered that on my channel yet. So on the Woodland mills, they have this nut right there that you can remove. You snap, there's 3 of these, you open up, just knock them down like little toggle clamps, and you open it up. Now, this ain't too bad. This is about what I expected. I keep this fairly clean. The problem we have is right here. Last time I cut, the material I was cutting was kind of wet, and it looks like it plugged me up a little bit. I keep just a little brush. Found a little spot right there. It kind of stays. It's out of the way. It doesn't hurt nothing, and it works for me. Something else I like to do, while I'm here, I like to take a look at everything. You can see it's how wet it is out here today. That sawdust is sticking together almost like a cake. I like using a brush when I get near these blades. You don't want to cut your finger, so they are super sharp. It doesn't have to be super clean or anything, but if you leave stuff in there for long periods of time, it can build up moisture against the metal and rust it, and you don't want that. Alright, so we're going to spin it here a little bit, kind of make sure it's tracking okay. You got to be careful doing what I just did, because you could potentially start the motor. They actually suggest you pull the spark plug anytime you do that. I just pushed a slide over to the off position. I guess the safest thing would be to do is to pull the spark plug. So this door goes back on first, and then this door, I like to put this in place first because these don't always set aligned, and if you clamp the toggle clamps down, then you may have to bump it or shift it anyway. So toggle clamps just go over these little points, lock it in. They are adjustable, so let's say you can't get it to really pull tight. All you have to do is twist this portion right here and it'll get tighter. It's kind of like a 90-degree lock there. Okay, so it looks like we're a little low on water. I'm going to go ahead and put some more in. This is the one disadvantage of having my sawmill up so high. I'm not a short person, but I do need to step up a little bit. These are windshield washer fluid jugs. Sometimes in the wintertime you can use the non-freezing windshield washer fluid to run in your sawmill. That way you can leave it in your tank and not worry about it. In the summertime, I just run straight water. A lot of people put just a couple of drops of dish soap or something like that in there. I've really never worried about that. We're after a slow drip with the throttle wide open. We're basically what you see right there with the throttle open, maybe a little more. I don't want a stream running out. I just want a good steady drip, and that's sufficient to cool the blade. If you put too much water to it, same thing that happened over there. It's going to plug up that exit chute. So, all right. Well, got this log locked down, beam, and we're going to start cutting. Okay, I want to show you a little secret that I learned from sawing with Sandy. When you have a larger board or beam that you're or log that you're cutting multiple passes out of, as long as you're not exceeding your opening here, you can make multiple cuts together, and that's what I'm going to do. Well, that does a couple of things. It keeps weight on the next one down, and sometimes they'll tend to shift like that. Anyway, we're going to scooch back and start this again. have a 6-inch opening in them. So I'm going to take these 2 boards off now. I've got one more left to do. Should be able to get that through that opening, but I'm not going to chance it. So we're going to stack these right back on top of the tractor bucket here. And I'm going to change the view for you a little bit, and we'll make that final cut. So as you can see, the way I'm stacking it, it's kind of handy actually. Gives me something to carry them with and a place to put them after I cut them. We're going to use them today, so a little bit of bow there. It's not bad. This one's better, nice and flat. These are 14 foot long, so they're a little bit to handle. This log was pretty wet still. Some really pretty wood, nice and clear. Okay, so we're going to cut the last one off. I should have plenty of clearance to clear my clamps here. And for you guys that are wondering, I don't know if you can see it, I can almost get my pinky, the tip of my pinky under here. So that wasn't there when I first started cutting. That's the bow I'm talking about. When you start removing material, it'll tend to relieve that stress, or that stress will start showing up. That's not terrible. Not particularly happy with it, but I think I can live with it. It's not a huge amount. We'll see. We'll make this next cut here. It seemed to settle down just a little bit as I got closer, so maybe it won't be as bad as I thought. But I guarantee if I put a tape measure on this one versus that one, or one of those, this bottom one's going to be a little thinner there. It's going to be floor joist, and I'm cutting actual 2-inch wide. And store-bought dimensions are 1.5 inches, so we're over that, so I'm not particularly worried. They're going to be concealed anyway. And if I was worried, I just wouldn't use it. Okay, get these clamps out of the way. And we're done cutting this one. We'll get this and these boards back up to the cabin build. All right. Yes, I can actually see we're about a 1/4 inch narrow right here, which is kind of what I expected, but it's not going to hurt the structural use of this board. The hard part's going to be making sure I hit the center of this with a nail, and it's only a 1/4 inch difference. I don't think that's going to be that bad. I'm nailing flooring on top. It'll be okay. And I got a fresh coat of sawdust on the ground down here for the dog to wallow around in. I've noticed here lately he's been disappearing at night during the rainstorms. I think he found himself a doghouse. Figured while we're at it, we'll stop and pick up some more lumber. This is one of the older boards that I cut. It doesn't weigh much of anything compared to the newer ones. I'd say it's about a month old. Same with this one. Super light. No struggle at all moving that around. those of you wondering, I do have a set of forks. I don't like them. They clamp onto the bucket. They seem to want to move on me. So I typically don't end up using them. Okay. Now we're going to drive this all up to the cabin and get to building.